Alright, sports fans, this is me with a headset on, and there's Brendan Hart just dropped a new video. You know what time it is. Let's hit it.
For the nights I stayed up late, cause my brain wouldn't let me sleep. For the nights I couldn't see straight, and there's nowhere I'd rather be. Well, maybe you're anxious, then maybe you're just like me, and I know we didn't plan this, but you can put your plans on me. But every single night that I gave up on me, for every single night that I felt like I couldn't breathe. Now we can breathe in, we can breathe out, we can all scream, we can all shout, we can do everything in our power. When it rains, you can't stop the shower. We can breathe in, we can breathe out, we can all scream, we can all shout, we can do everything in our power. When it rains, you can't stop the shower.
Pausing it right here. Right, okay. This is what I love about Brandon. He has his own vibe and way of bringing subjects to the foreground in music. Um, there is this specific groove that it just gets you moving. It just gets you going, and I know what he's talking about. Right. I mean, I've known those moments that you're wide awake at night and you can't stop your brain, and it's like going 100,000 miles an hour, and you wish you could just fall asleep and get over it, but or anxiousness or whatever is bothering you, and when you're in that state of mind, the night is a long, long hole to go through. Um, you're literally in darkness. You are basically left alone by yourself, because usually that's it. You're lying in bed. You might have a partner who's next to you, sound asleep, so you don't want to wake them up, but it's just lying there, basically surrounded with not only the darkness of the night, but the darkness of your inner self. And if you're struggling with something, then that's hard. Um, but he says something interesting. You can breathe in, you can breathe out. And when I hear that, you can breathe in, breathe out. That's like, meditation exercises I used to do. Try to calm yourself down a bit. Try to center yourself. And I know that stuff works, and, anybody that's dealing with anxiety or, anything that, um, tends to overwhelm your brain, uh, start meditating, and just most of the time it's just breathing, being consciousness of your own breathing. At least it will take your mind off whatever is going on in your head that's driving you bonkers. Um, it's like, and it's like nobody is asking for it. Nobody is asking to be anxious. Nobody is planning for it. That's what Brandon says as well. This is not something you plan. This is not something you ask for. But, it's like if it rains, then it pours. And it's kind of funny, because like what I'm kind of relating into it, and how when I use my own analogy of what he's saying, is often enough like I'm looking outside of the window and I see like, oh man, it's nice outside. I think I'm gonna get my motorbike and I'll go for a spin, right? And it's like, I'll just wear my leather jacket, a t-shirt, it'll be fine. I don't need no hoodie. Grand, it's nice outside, and you go off, and I find myself in the middle of nowhere, and it starts getting cold and dark, and it starts raining, and I get wet, and you're wet and cold and 40 miles away from home. That is a long journey back home. And I don't care how tough you are, you're going to feel miserable, and you're going to feel a whole lot better if you weren't wet. So yeah, I get that. It's like when that shower starts and it doesn't stop, it's a long journey home. And that's the same for your brain or whatever, your mental health. If you're in a bad place, then it's going to feel like it's going to take forever to get into that good place. And sometimes the only thing you can do is scream and shout. I'm kind of like sensing that is something that Brandon refers to as well. But it helps. It helps. I actually do my screaming and shouting on the motorbike because the neighbors will look funny at me if I do that too much at home and call the cops and all that shit. So I'll go out in the middle of nowhere and just be one with nature and yell at it. It's great. You should try it.
For the nights I couldn't hold it together, survive in the storm and pray for better weather. For the nights that I couldn't keep my head high, toss and turn in my bed like I might die. For the nights that I did too much or didn't do enough and fell in and out of love. For the nights I kept chasing a buzz, yeah. For all the times I forgot who I was, yeah. For every single night that I gave up on me. For every single night that I felt like I couldn't breathe. Now we can breathe in, we can breathe out, we can all scream, we can all shout, we can do everything in our power. When it rains, you can't stop the shower. We can breathe in, we can breathe out, we can all scream, we can all shout, we can do everything in our power. When it rains, you can't stop the shower.
I gotta stop it again. I know I'm terrible, but this is just so typically Brandon Hart. This vibe that you get musically, it's he brings you somewhere. And it's not a light subject. It's pretty heavy. It's pretty dark. The stuff he's talking about. About the nights he was trying to get a buzz and he didn't do enough, or he did too much, or the anxiety is keeping him awake. That's not fun stuff. But the way Brandon brings it is always in a way that it brings it to the open, and it feels like a release, and it's like a musical release as well, because the way the rhythm patterns work here, you kind of like feel it coming up to a crescendo, and while you're still in that dark subject, you're moving, you're dancing to it. You're going like, yeah, all that shit is going on in my head, but what the fuck, I'm gonna groove to this bitch. So that's really cool.
Nights feel so much longer when I'm in my brain.
Yeah.
The nights feel so much longer when you're in the rain. The nights feel so much longer when I'm in my brain. The nights feel so much longer when you're in the rain. Now we can breathe in, we can breathe out, we can all scream, we can all shout, we can do everything in our power. When it rains, you can't stop the shower. We can breathe in, we can breathe out, we can all
I really like this video. I mean, it's like I've said enough about the music, I've said enough about the subject. Um, the video is simple, but you know, what can you expect? It's like social distancing all the way. You know, it's not going to be easy to make like a big fat production, but the video really represents Brennan Hart. I mean, like I said before, like you have this really heavy subject, and he approaches it musically to bring it to a crescendo and to, for some, you know, in some way, enable you to groove the fuck out of the fucker and get a positive vibe out of it. And then at the end of the video, he's playing air guitar and picking up his puppy. Right, it's like giving him belly rubs. So come on, it's like that's the best thing in the world, giving your puppy belly rubs and playing air guitar. Right. Okay, I'm gonna leave it with that. As usual, do not subscribe to my channel, do not like, do not share, because I'm not making any money in this motherfucker anyway. But do subscribe to Brennan Hart. Just like make sure you get it, hit the view. www.IamBrennanHart.com. Go there, get the CD, like stuff. Also go to his YouTube channel, subscribe, like, share. He's the artist. You know, support him. Hangover Gang. Love you guys forever, and see you next time. Cheers.